What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to talk about an indicator that I use every single day. And this will not be a surprise to a lot of the Candle Mafia if you are subscribed to the channel. But this indicator is Market Cipher B. And this is something I use every single day in my analysis to not only help me understand the general direction of the market, but it also gives me fire entry triggers to actually get into my trades. And it also helps me know when to get out of them. So in today's video, I want to do a full overview of Market Cipher B. I'll talk about how I use it and interpret it to help me in my analysis. And then I want to break down the indicator into each individual piece and explain what everything means. And then if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can also use this indicator to help you make much more money trading crypto, whether the price is going up or down. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the video. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and you guys can see Market Cipher B sitting at the bottom of my screen here, as it is an oscillator, so this is naturally where it will live, unless you wanted to put it on the top for some reason, but I generally keep it on the bottom. And you can see this does look very, very confusing at first with all these different signals. We have the blue waves, we have the red and the green money flow waves, we got the red and green dots, we got this yellow VWAP wave, we got these lines all over the place, and I know this can be overwhelming as a new trader, so the purpose of this video is to make this much more simple for you guys, which is why I kind of want to break down the anatomy of the indicator and talk about each individual part. So guys, just to do a little overview of the indicator here, we have the blue momentum waves. This is what we're going to be using to more often find the actual entries into our trades, because this can indicate when momentum may be going one way, but price action is going another way, which could be an indication that we could see a trend reversal. You could compare this somewhat to an RSI, another momentum indicator that is free on TradingView, but for me, I like to use Market Cipher B as it pulls all this different information from multiple types of indicators and kind of jam packs it into one easy to read oscillator. So those are the momentum waves, and then you guys see we have these green and red money flow waves, which kind of spend a lot of time below the zero line or above the zero line here. This is what we're going to use to indicate more of the overall trend of the market, because as you guys can see here, we have a massive downtrend on Bitcoin here, at least looking at the 2-hour time frame. And although this was a downtrend, we have all these little ebbs and flows in the markets, these ups and downs, what we like to call internal structure. This always occurs within the larger trend. And when it comes to Market Cipher, you're going to be using these money flow waves to more give you an idea of where the trend is headed. However, you know you are going to be expecting those little ebbs and flows in the markets, those little bounces to the upside before returning back to the downside. And then you guys can see we have this yellow wave, which is called the VWAP. Now, this does oscillate above and below that zero line very, very often. Now, this does indicate kind of when those ebbs and flows may start, or at least this is how I interpret the indicator. You guys can see anytime you have a red dot here, typically we do see a move to the downside, and then we wind up getting a green dot down here where price decides to reverse, so on and so forth. But one thing to realize here, guys, is that those red and green dots are indicating the smaller ebbs and flows in the market, but not necessarily the overall trend. And then we also have all these lines on the chart here going horizontal. Anytime you see a momentum wave come above that overbought level at about 60, you can anticipate that this may be an overbought asset or an overvalued asset, and you may be looking for a return back down to lower prices, which you can see happen very cleanly right here. And even if we come on over to a higher time frame, guys, you can see going back to money flow here, we talk about this on the live stream all the time, but when you see a money flow crossover cross from red into the green, this would be an indication that the trend is likely to continue up. And this is a very obvious example of the money flow calling the overall trend. And guys, by using all of this stuff together, as the money flow gives us the longer term trend, as well as the red and green dots and momentum waves giving us the ebbs and flows and possible reversal points, we can use all this information together to find confluence into where it might be a good place to put in a long or a short position, whether the price is going up or down. So now let's go ahead and I want to break down each individual piece of the indicator. This was actually a specific request from the live stream because I know there's a lot happening on this indicator, so I want to try to simplify it as much as possible because I think a lot of people overcomplicate TA and indicators. So I'll try to make it easy to digest for you guys so you can start making more money. So first off, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the money flow. I'm going to go ahead and take everything off the screen here so you guys can see the full chart. There we go. Now you guys can see the entire chart. Now, one thing to understand about money flow, guys, is money flow will always indicate the longer term trend, whether you're looking at the 2-day, the 5-day, the 1-day, the 2-minute, the 5-minute, it doesn't matter. But whatever the context of the time frame that you're looking at is, that is the trend that the money flow will likely continue. You could kind of think of this as a filter into whether you should be looking for longs or shorts. shorts. So I'll give you guys a kind of longer term high time frame example here of the money flow working because it's kind of nice and simple. There's less noise. So we are here on the weekly time frame, and as you guys can see, we have our money flow waves only on the chart here as well as the zero line. And even if we come all the way back here to about 2014, you guys can see price was absolutely blasting to the upside. And then as we started correcting here, we started to see the money flow trend back to the downside, indicating that money was leaving the asset. And what that does for us is let us know, hey, if you approach this zero line and dip into the red, you are likely going to see a continuation of the downtrend. So at this point, if you were trading something like the weekly time frame, you were looking for those longer term swing trades, you would be looking at this as, hey, money flow is about to cross over into the red. I would expect a trend to the downside to continue. So any pushes to the upside, I'm going to have to look at through the lens or filter that I'm going to be better off looking for short positions rather than moonshot long positions for higher highs. So very simply put, money flow comes down. It's indicating money is leaving the asset. And then on that crossover, typically you will see a continuation of the downtrend. So don't be looking for massive longs, but yet more of those giga shorts. And then another beautiful thing specifically on the weekly here, guys, is it can be a great macro indicator on when to DCA into the market. This happens in almost every single bear market. You can see money flow crosses over into the red. If you were buying your crypto in this red money flow wave, you are essentially buying the bottom of that bear market. And then what happens? Your money flow winds up coming back up, crossing over into the green, indicating that the trend may change into an uptrend. And once that money flow continues up into the green, the price action is basically up and to the right until we hit the 2017 top. And then we see the money flow did wind up peaking out here. And over time, as we corrected, even as we were wiggling sideways here, money flow was quickly leaving the asset, indicating that a big drop may be coming. And where is that big drop likely to occur? Well, right on that money flow crossover into the red. And what happens? Money flow crosses over into the red, and then you get a big capitulation to the downside, making that deep red money flow wave on the weekly a beautiful place to be dollar cost averaging in for the next bull market. And then as we move on to the 2020-2021 cycle, you can see here money flow is in the red. That would have been a beautiful place to DCA for your spot bags. And then we got a little bear market rally before kind of going sideways, getting that last black swan event. But then when that money flow crossed over into the green, that was basically off to the moon and up and to the right into the 2021 bull market, where the money flow came back into a massive green wave, peaking right on that second top that we made. And then you guys can see as we started to kind of correct here, money flow was aggressively leaving the asset once again. Now, the money flow crossovers on the weekly don't happen very often, but they are very significant when they do. So once that money flow starts aggressively coming out here on the weekly, we would not necessarily be looking for giga longs on this little bounce to the upside, but rather you would want to wait for a retracement up to find a short position to capitalize on the big drop to the downside if that money flow crosses over into the red. And yet again, money flow crosses over, gives us the big capitulation into the bear market. And for the third time, it wound up giving us that beautiful, beautiful red money flow wave on the weekly to DCA into the market. This is something I talked about on my live stream time and time again as we were entering the bear market. And this is how I was able to get an entry price between about $20,000 and $21,000 on my spot Bitcoin bags. And then after that, money flow kind of wiggles around here just a little bit before finally crossing over into the green right here. And at that point, you wound up crossing into the green and getting another massive trend to the upside. And again, this works on the weekly. It works on the 1 minute, the 5 minute. Just make sure that you're understanding the context of the chart that you're looking at. If you're looking at the 1 minute and you get a money flow crossover into the green, don't expect all-time highs on Bitcoin, but it will indicate that that 1 minute trend is likely to continue to the upside. So pretty simple. You want to look at the money flow as a filter to whether you should be longing or shorting, helping you identify where the trend is likely to go. So guys, I want to take a quick look here now at the momentum waves. Now, momentum waves indicate momentum in the market, right? And it can help us identify things such as when we're in an overbought environment or an oversold environment. And it can also be a massive tool to help us find when we're going to see a reversal in the market, especially when using it on a high time frame. But again, context is king. If you're trading the 5 minute, it's going to work exactly the same. But we're here on the daily chart. And the way we can use these momentum waves to help us find reversals is when we have something called a divergence. Anytime you have price moving moving in a certain direction and your momentum waves are disagreeing with that direction, oftentimes it can indicate a reversal. So if I come on over here, you guys can see right here, price action coming to the downside as our momentum waves are making higher lows. We have momentum coming up, but price action is coming down. And if price action's coming down, but momentum is coming up, this is what creates a discrepancy in the market and a likely reversal. And you can see this is what we would call a bullish divergence, where price comes down and momentum comes up. And what happens is we simply get a market reversal right here on the print of that divergence. That was the actual bottom, and you wind up getting a huge reversal to the upside. Again, I want to remind you, this is the daily time frame. So obviously a daily bull div is going to be extremely powerful, much more powerful than something like a 1 hour bullish divergence. But we can also use this on the bearish end of things, where you see we have price over here coming to the upside, putting in a higher high. But what is your momentum doing? Your momentum is essentially making lower highs, and your price action's going up and momentum is coming down, and that gives you that discrepancy in the market to indicate a likely trend reversal. And what happened right here on that bearish divergence was the top of the market before a pretty big reversal of about 21%. And this is how we're able to find some of those entry triggers into our trades to identify where price is likely to go. And now you can start to see that when you start incorporating something like money flow into this, you can start having a lot of confidence in your trades. And this happens all the time. You can see here again, you have a higher high on your price action, and then you have a lower high on your momentum waves, giving you that discrepancy in the market. And what happens? You obviously wind up getting a bit of a reversal here, getting a big drop to the downside, giving you a beautiful opportunity to capitalize on a short position, bringing you down about 22%. And again, if we had money flow here on our side, we would know whether we should be looking to hold this trade down to lower prices, or if we should be looking to capitalize on this short term for a continuation to the upside. And this is actually one of the examples we just looked at, and money flow on the high time frames was crossing over into the green. So this would have been something you would have wanted to take profit on in order to see that continuation to the upside. But that's the difference between the momentum waves giving you those reversal signals where that money flow can help you see the overall trend. And we're going to kind of match this all together at the end of the video. So guys, now I have added those green and red dots to the momentum waves, and you can see here these pop up all over the place. And unlike the money flow, the red and green dots don't necessarily indicate the trend, yet they indicate the ebbs and flows in the market, or the noise in the market, as I like to call it, right? So you can see here, if we mark out some of these red and green dots, we have a red dot here, a green dot, a red dot, a green dot, a red dot, a green dot, right? We have all these red and green dots popping up all over the place. But what do these wind up indicating in the market? It indicates the small noise, right? It indicates those pushes to the downside. You can see red dot, you get a little downside. Then you get a green dot, a little upside, a little downside, little upside, little downside. And then you wind up getting a little upside before going back to the downside. And this is what the red and green dots do, right? They indicate those small ebbs and flows in the market, or the noise. And this is what I like to use to confirm a divergence, right? So if I were looking for this bearish divergence up here that we just took a look at, higher highs, lower highs, you can see once that red dot prints and confirms, that is kind of what I look at as a confirmed divergence. It kind of lets us know when that divergence is actually there, because if you don't let it confirm, it can easily just unprint and not play out. So you want to wait for those confirmations. So in that case, I like to look at these red dots to actually give us the confirmation of that divergence. And last but not least, I'm going to drop that VWAP on here. I'm going to keep the red and green dots and the momentum waves as we slowly build this indicator back up into a full product. And you can see these VWAPs, basically what I use the VWAPs for, guys, is to find out when one of these red or green dots is likely to print. Because if we zoom in here, you guys can see, even if we go into bar replay mode, when you get these crossovers on the VWAP, very soon after, once it actually crosses over, you do wind up seeing this red dot print. Same thing right here. VWAP crosses the 0 line, and we get that green dot to print, and then it immediately crosses back over into the red to print a red dot. And then right here, VWAP crosses over the 0 line, we get another green dot. Now, I do think the actual thing that prints these dots is this light blue wave crossing over the dark blue wave. But in my opinion, the VWAP gives you kind of a nicer, clean anticipation of that dot incoming. So it's really good when you're looking for divergences to confirm. You could see that VWAP coming down in the case of a bearish divergence and being like, okay, like this VWAP's about to cross over, so that divergence does look like it's about to print. So it's just another kind of directional indicator that can let us know when something is likely to occur, in this case being a red or green dot. And then if we come on over here and we just go ahead and throw that money flow back onto the indicator, you guys can see this is basically the full completed market cipher B. And now we can use all of this information together, again, not only to indicate the overall trend in the market, but also those little ebbs and flows, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot. But that money flow lets us know that trend is likely to continue to the upside. Now, the last thing that we did not go over here are these overbought and oversold lines. But if you're familiar with an RSI, this is very, very similar. You could see when you have a momentum wave cross over that oversold line, you could look at this as a pretty oversold environment, indicating at least a likely retracement back to the upside. As you can see, we did wind up getting that. So these are pretty simple. Overbought level is at 60 and the oversold level is at -60. So very simply put, overbought environment above the 60 level and then oversold environment below the -60 level. And again, you could kind of just use this as a gauge of like, how overbought are we, right? So just very similar to the RSI. So I'm not really going to focus too much on that stuff. So now you guys can see how Market Cipher B can give us an overarching view of the market, showing us not only where the longer term trend is likely to continue, but also give us those divergences, especially when you see a divergence with a money flow crossover into the green. It could be extra, extra saucy, but I'll have to make 100 other videos to explain every single way I use this indicator. But this is just a simple Market Cipher B 101 video to show you guys kind of how we can use it to not only identify the longer term trend, but also give us those more intricate, smaller entry triggers, whether we're looking to scalp the market or find the tippy top and put in a short. We can use the momentum waves, the money flow, and the VWAP all together to give us a very, very high probability trading strategy. And if you guys are interested in learning more about how I actually use Market Cipher B to trade, you guys can check out the link in the description down below to get into our Discord, where we have tons of other people trading with Market Cipher and absolutely crushing it. We also have our paid Discord, and don't forget to check out all the other videos on the channel. We have tons and tons of content. This YouTube channel is basically a free trading course, so don't sleep on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys, because we drop fire content like this all the time, and we're live every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I show you how to use things like Market Cipher B to make money trading crypto, whether the price is going up or down. So go hit the charts, guys. If you guys are looking to sign up for Market Cipher, we do have a discount code for you guys in the description down below, or you can just use discount code MCFrank20 to save 20%. So go check out Market Cipher B, guys, and start making money trading crypto, whether the price is going up or down. And with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand.